Book 1, Bazur's Plot. Chapter 37. What happened to the Myriaths? Yes, we are. I'm Eirekr, the leader of the Myriaths. Here we have Svala, our mother, like we call the tribe's leader woman. And here is Thrain. You will soon hear why he is with us. He looked at Tara. I know it is important to discuss what has happened in order to understand the present situation, and we may have an idea, but you will need to help us think through if this could have happened. So, this is what we have understood. We were frozen to be water fountain and sculptures in the village. From that time, we do not remember anything. Thankfully, I should say. Everyone nodded. Tara said, yes, of course we will help. If we could start, would you still remember last moments? And also, you seem to recognize the name Bazur. Just clarifying still for you, Bazur is the black wizard who lives alone in the Six Woods at the coast, and he has been doing evil curses for years here. But just last 2 years, he started the most detrimental attack to overthrow White Goddess from the rain. In order to do that, he finds creatures to join his army, and he is having them under some kind of spell. And then if one is not useful or does not join the army, he makes them non-living things like you were. Eirekr nodded. Thank you. That is what I needed to know. Can you give us just a minute? Myriaths started to talk with their own language. It just occurred to me that they were speaking English too. I looked at White Goddess and she smiled. Yes, we have been using underground elves' remedies. They are wondrous. Even the translation remedy. Seems that since Myriaths were the original Myriaths wizards and witches, they only needed a couple doses and they are able to speak and understand fully English. Myriaths were still talking together, and what sounded to my ear like some ancient Nordic or such. I used my opportunity. So who are Myriaths then? Tora spoke. Good point. You two do not know, looking at me and Jack. They were like White Goddess said, our old tribe of wizards and witches. Historically here in Myria, we do not have anyone doing black magic. Obviously, there is an individual occasionally who is more in the gray area and does teasing or even bullying, but in this place, those tendencies change fast. This place changes everything. Living to be kind and see good in life. Personally, I think it's because of White Goddess Rain. She rules with the never-ending love. That is so special about Myria. So going back to Myriaths, the tribe was very important to Myria. At last time, we had humans here as well. The understanding is that they were one of the first ones to arrive to Myria. They took care of many creatures here in these woods and also did farming for food, healing sick or wounded and that sort of great things. They also arranged festivities often, and they were responsible for amazing dinner soups and feasts. But then one day they disappeared, the whole tribe, and they were nowhere to be found. After a while, the assumption was that they left to Earth. That was always troubling, since it was clearly said by all Myriaths that they loved to be here in Myria and would never leave. Hence, there was always a question mark about what had happened to them. Eirekr was now following Tora's explanation and said, I can continue from here, but before I start, he looked at all of us and said, thank you so much for rescuing us from bottom of our hearts, from all the tribe. And he bowed, so did Svala and Thrain. It felt so royal gesture. We all bowed back. Eirekr continued before anyone could say anything. So we think we know who Bazur is. thanks to your explanation. And thanks for your explanation of his plan and plot and how he's going about it. So we think he's Thrain's son. Everyone looked Thrain, who stepped forward and looked so beaten, and said, "Yes, I think it's my oldest son, who has always caused a lot of challenges. I am sorry." White Goddess spoke. "Thrain, why are you sorry? It is not you who are doing these deeds. We can only be responsible for our own selves." Thrain bowed. "Thank you, White Goddess. I feel responsible, none of the less. Nonetheless, he's my son, and I did not see how evil he was. I thought he was still under my guidance, but I did not see the evil in him. But you are right. I'm not dwelling on that. I will join the rescue team, and I will do everything I can do to battle him down. I'm one of the best wizards in the Myriaths tribe. I taught my son Bazur, and thankfully I also taught 5 others, so if anything happens to me, the skills and knowledge are secure." Tara said softly, "I hope nothing is going to happen to you. I trust our crew. We are able to uncurse the known curse now, and with your help, I'm less worried about facing Bazur. Although facing Bazur needs to be planned, though." Erekra said, "Yes, Thrain, you are not to blame. We will fix this situation and get Myria back to the old glory, or today's new glory and laughter. On that note, this is what we think happened. So Bazur was, just like Thrain said, a troublesome youngster. But none of us understood he was evil. So what seems to have happened is that he had learned a lot black magic, even though we don't practice it. We do, however, have a lot of old books in old language, and those are very well stored. We are not sure where he picked up it, or did he make the new curses. It is possible he figured out a way to get to the protected books and learned the old language. Also, it is possible that since he was very good at magic, he's creating his own new spells. We do create spells, not curses, but obviously Bazur has crossed the line to the dark side. So the last events the whole tribe remembers are when we were preparing for Harvester Fest. Then everything starts going blank. We think that he cursed Thrain first, then Svala, then myself, who are the most elder and best in magic, and surprised then other tribe members one by one in different places. We have no recollection of this happening, so he must have been hidden when he was doing this, and then only built the water fountain into the village center afterwards from us." He looked around and continued. "We asked around from the other creatures before you returned, and understood that he has been settled to Sixth Woods into some cabin. What we don't know is why he did not continue doing bad things, but moved to the Sixth Woods into his cabin, and only now restarted 2 years ago." Everyone was quiet for a moment, and then Tora spoke. "Maybe he did not understand that by cursing the whole tribe, he was then alone and had to learn how to feed himself. I remember him being very mean, so I doubt any creature would help him with food and such. And yes, he did just appear to the Sixth Woods. We did not understand he was Myriath. He was so quiet for some time there. Maybe learning how to get food for himself, or maybe learning other black magic skills. I don't know." Tara nodded. "That would make sense. But also, maybe he has been practicing curses in between too, but we just not have caught up with him. But the news is that we do not really need to know all his reasons. We know he's wanting to overthrow White Goddess and rule Myria. We need to plan how to face him eventually." White Goddess said, "It would be good to understand at some point why he did not start his plot right away, since that would give understanding of himself. Nodding and agreeing mumbles were coming from all directions. She continued. However, for me, he has been growing older alone in the Six Woods, and by doing so he has changed to be a more angry and grumpier black wizard. I think being alone all these years has increased his mean character, and also those are reasons why he is now plotting to overthrow my reign of Myria. Edeker said firmly, Myriaths all want white goddess to reign Myria. You lead with love, compassion, fairness, and we always have enjoyed the peace here. Our relative Bazur will not ruin that. He bowed to White Goddess, who smiled and nodded to him. Svala stepped forward. Everyone went silent. She, like White Goddess, had that kind of silent authority. She bowed to White Goddess. My queen, I hope you remember I used to call you my queen. White Goddess nodded. Yes, I do. Svala continued. We held a quick meeting and we decided that all of us three will be joining the rescues and we will be facing Bazur. When there are three of us, we think we could distract Bazur enough that you and others could be doing the uncursing the army creatures, so we would not have he would not have support troops anymore. Even if he would manage to kill one of us, this is acceptable for us. We have trained our children well. They will take forward our traditions and bring back what was hidden in Myria when Bazur cursed us. White Goddess nodded. I hear you well. I hope you will not be killed, but I think your idea is the best and the only option we have. You three can overpower his magic and anyway distract him enough so others will endure the army is uncursed and awakened. Thankfully, we have our strong Morbairns who can also carry Jack and Sarah, so they are kept safe. Everyone was silent for a moment. Tara spoke. I think we should still continue to go forward with the plan so far, avoiding to face him and uncursing as many as we can before reaching Sixth Woods, where meeting of him is becoming more obvious. It feels to me to be best option, but what do you others think? Silence was so throughout and thick that one could have cut it with the knife. Tikko finally spoke. We are now in Third Woods only. We have likely quite many more cursed ones in the north of the palace and to be awakened, and the same thing for Fourth and Fifth Woods. He has been very efficient, and we do not have many creatures left who are not cursed. So we did not have many creatures left who were not cursed. So now that we have managed to get almost all Morbairns to be awakened, and many other creatures, that brings us advantage if the rescue mission needs more help. And all woods in Myria are now in their toes, in a sense that every creature is now following and helping us. There are many waiting for their loved ones, us too. We are lacking few from our herd too. We should continue and awaken all who we can find, and also Bazur's army. Garner grunted. Yes, it was amazing to see our missing tribe members and take them home to recover. There were already 3 of them who wanted to stay with us to help, but we told them that they need to first rest for a few days and then we would call them to join us if we needed. We did explain that we cannot have so many big Morbairns in our crew since we would draw the attention of Bazur and his army members. So as Morbairns second the motion what Tikko is saying. Tora asked. Yes, we could also do it vice versa, that we first face Bazur and then continue awakening. I looked at Jack and I did not notice, and he did not notice me looking. He was keenly following the discussion. I do not know what to think. Either way, I would not object any plan, obviously. I knew the plan would be a good for Myria, and I was here to help. White Goddess spoke. We will continue the plan to awaken Myria creatures. We are now in the third woods, and there are still fourth and fifth woods before going to Bazur's area. There are still creatures lost, and we don't know if some of the missing tribes, like Myriaths, are still there to be uncursed. There are many different creatures with important abilities to fight off Bazur. What could he have been doing is making the threat tribes to disappear as whole, like Myriaths, giving him an advantage to overthrow me. So that is why I agree with Tikko. Everyone was silent for the moment and started to nod. Tara spoke. Well, then it's decided. Is that so that female folks and magic creatures are helping us in the third woods? She was looking at White Goddess, and she nodded. She continued. It would then make sense that if Tora, Tara, Sarah, Jack, and underground elves would split into two groups again for tomorrow to cover the rest of the third woods north of the palace, and we would have magic carriages bringing awakens back here. Even this palace can help many, but if the rate continues like this, we need to start taking them to tribes to make room. Tribes and their homes, meaning. At least those who we know where they are hiding. That I was clearly referring to those about 10 creatures that were solo creatures and at the moment living in the palace and helping with the new awakened ones. Nobody knew if the rest of their tribes were also cursed or if there was someone hidden somewhere in the woods. White Goddess had promised they would stay in the palace until tribe members were found or the Bazur situation was solved. I saw them helping around the palace with those newly awakened ones, but also doing all kinds of chores like gardening or such. Deepclaw asked with his low voice, Are you coming soon, Tara, for the plan? What we can do? Impatiently. Tara laughed. Yes, sorry. So what Capritors and Morbans would then split into groups to transport the awakened ones, so that we already have and who are well enough to travel to their new hidden homes, and who we know and where to take them, in order to make room for the new ones. Morbans and Capritors all perked up and mumbled, yes, good idea, from many directions. White Goddess looked happy. Yes, that would be very helpful. So we can help more those who need help and make room for the new ones, new awakened ones. I have also sent message to Ilindra and Arnor, the medical elders, to come help here, since we have so many awakened ones needing different levels of medical help. Morbers started to stretch and pretend they were swooshing off already, and everyone started to laugh. Capritors looked happy. They had welcomed the rest, but they liked being out and about. Morbans and Capritors talked together shortly, and Tikko spoke for all of them. We have 3 groups, one Morbarn, and we split our Capritors to each Morbarn to scout and support. Sivren walked in front of Tara. How about us? We can take ferry transports. I think you brought a few ferries back again. Tara nodded. That would be great. Fairyland is not too far away from here, so it would be nice flying for you too. Svala stepped forward now. It sounds like you do not need us tomorrow here in the rest of the third woods. Tara nodded. No, it would be good for you to join us for fourth woods, but north area from the palace will take a whole day for sure tomorrow. We have 2 trails to the north and both villages, but both have a village on the way as well. Svala nodded. We would like to train with Myriaths our skills and remind ourselves of our protective measures that we can take usage when coming up with the Bazur's battle, and to protect our village, the rest of us. She was now looking at White Goddess. We ask, my queen, your permission to return to our Puddlejump Hollow. It is our home. Us 3 will follow the rescue crew, and the rest of our tribe would like to make village out of Puddlejump Hollow again. I see doubt in your eyes, my queen. Think of it this way. If Bazur does hear about anything that is ongoing, and it is also good to bait him too. He hates us most, his own tribe, so he will come there. Fume folks can warn the tribe early enough, and they can fight and face him. This time we are ready and alert. We also made a rule to be paired up with someone to avoid earlier mistake that Bazur was taking advantage of us. We would like to train each other and refresh our skills at the yard by the woods so it does not bother others tomorrow. That will help us to be our best. White Goddess looked for a long time into Svala's eyes and said, That is very smart thinking. You have my permission. You have clearly understood the risks, which I don't like. But it is also good to bait, and we can bring your support with the Fume folk and other creatures to protect the village. I also like that the Puddlejump Hollow will be inhabited again. Sarah bowed and said, We will go to share the news and today's learned facts with our tribe. We will be ready in 2 nights. All 3 Myriaths turned around and headed back to the Great Hall. White Goddess looked pleased. Great. So, let's relax for a moment. I have asked for dessert for you all, and then let's have a good night, and we will wake up at 5 to start the day early. Everyone nodded. It was early evening, but nobody looked like they did not want a dessert and to be early in bed. Jack and I both looked at each other and said at the same time, laughing, Good that I did not remember to take the second plate. I'd rather have dessert.